Well, hello there, and welcome back to the show. This is for my Sagittarius friends, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. So, Sagittarius, you're pretty neat people, I must say. You often come across as optimistic, adventurous, a strong desire to keep learning. You're honest, you're curious, you're playful. You have a great sense of humor because you are ruled by Jupiter. And you can be bored with restless routines. Like I said, you are ruled by Jupiter. So, welcome to the show, my Sagittarius friends. I think everyone needs a Sagittarius in their life. So, if you are listening today, let me tell you a little bit about the reasons for listening. So, as I said before, this could be for sun, moon, or rising sign. If you don't know your rising sign, I do have a video that I will link that shows you exactly how to cast your natal chart. And I do recommend you print it out, keep it with you, take a look at your natal chart as I am going through the transits with you today. Because if any of these placements that I talk about today, if you have a natal planet there, it certainly might impact you a little differently. So if you are listening for your sun sign, that is based on your birth date. And your sun sign is going to be about your ego, right? Your persona. I think it's more, I don't know, it's your true self, but when you look at the rising sign, that's going to mesh with your natal chart. Now, many people say over the age of 40, you do relate more to your sun sign. I like to use both, and I do find similarities with both. Rising sign is basically the character that you play in this world we call life. Um, So that also will connect to your natal chart. Your moon sign, wherever that may fall, is going to be more about your inner mood, your inner feelings, maybe things that people don't see you as, but they are still important to you. So, Sagittarius, maybe you are just such great people because you are ruled by Jupiter, and who doesn't love Jupiter? And looking, you know what? I'm going to hold on. I'm jumping ahead of myself. So before we get into the charts, you can see I have these dates up. Feel free to take a screenshot, save these dates, mark your calendar, because I'm going to specifically tell you how all of these will impact your sign. And there's a lot of energy for you to shine in the month of August, Sagittarius. So this month is going to be really good for your career, really good for your friendships, being out there and being visible. So as you can see, on the 6th, Venus will be entering the sign of Libra. The 9th, Mercury enters Leo. The 11th, Mars enters Cancer. Okay, you've seen these. I don't need to go through them all. If you are driving, come back, rewind, but I'm going to walk them all through with you. So be ready to settle down. This will take about 30 minutes or less to get through. So grab a snack, grab a drink, and we will get right down to it. All right, Sagittarius. So here we go. What you see here, if you are tuning in for your ascendant, then your natal chart should have similar placements to this as far as where the houses are located. So, as I said early for Sagittarius, you are ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is currently residing in your ninth house. Now that's the house of Leo, and you have Jupiter with the sun right here. Now, the ninth house is your house of wisdom, of higher education, your direction in life. It can also have to do with foreign travel and law. So, my question for you is, are you expanding your mind in this area? Have you been looking into a course of study? What's going on in your life when it comes to ninth house themes? All right, so this is your chart for August 1st. Our first transit now occurs on August 7th when we have Venus entering Libra. So let me spin my wheel to August 7th. This is happening in your 11th house. This will be a very positive transit for you because Venus is very much at home in Libra. Venus rules the sign of Libra. So it doesn't get any better than this. This is your house of your friends, your social groups, and good fortune and wishes. So perhaps around this time, you have some events or gatherings. I'm thinking weddings, some joyous occasions. It's just going to be a really great time to get out there and socialize, whether you're planning events or going to events. They're going to be very Venus, right? They're going to be beautiful and they're going to be peaceful. So this goes on until, goes on for a while. Now, actually, on August 17th, and I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but there is a nice sextile here from Jupiter to Venus. And I bring this up because, as I said, you are ruled by Jupiter. So this is just going to give you some magnetic social appeal, really deepen your friendships, or maybe getting you immersed into a culturally diverse network, maybe a group you have been associated with, or bringing you more invitations. You'll be meeting people from new places. Now, if you write or publish, you can certainly see gains here. People of influence can open doors for you, so be aware of that. If you are someone that is looking for romance, that will bloom through mutual friends, groups, trips, or classes. So keep that in mind. Your friend wants to set you up or have you be the wingman, the wingwoman. That is a really great transit for that. Now, on the 9th is our next transit. So I'm going to spin the wheel. Mercury enters the sign of Leo. This is in your 9th house. You have a lot of action in your 9th house for the month of August. Mercury can bring news, intellect, learning, new studies, or technology. Now, Saturn in your 5th house is trining Mercury, and your 5th house is your house of fun. So I'm thinking of the 9th house, all about education. The 5th house is all about what you do when you're not working. So possibly meeting a mentor in whatever setting we're talking about in the 9th house that may possibly be offering you support when you meet them. And when we think of Saturnian people, they are very disciplined. They might be older, okay, but you will meet them when you're in one of these going out scenarios, I would say. Now, let me give you, I'm going to add my little caveat here. Now, what I'm going through is general world collective astrology. This is the energy that you will be encountering through the month of August. So certainly the things that I tell you about is not going to happen for everyone, but what I'm going through and telling you, I'm telling you because I am sharing the potential that you have for tapping into this energy, right? If I'm talking about your career, there certainly will be potential and opportunities here, but it's up to you whether or not you take them, right? There's still free will in the world. And like I said, your natal chart will be different than somebody else's. So that's your caveat here. I'm sharing the energy of August with you so that you can use it and work with it. And like I said, mark your calendar. Now, on the 11th is our next transit. August 11th, Mars enters the sign of Cancer, and that is in your 8th house. Your 8th house has to do with debt, shared resources, and investments. Now, Mars typically brings energy to each house he enters, right? When you think of a Mars person, they're athletic, they're exuberant, they've got a lot of vitality. But Mars is working extra hard because he does not like the house of Cancer. It's like when you have a very cynical person go and hang out with a counselor that's very in touch with their feelings. So he's going to have a hard time in this house, but he might bring an urgency or he might bring some friction regarding your finances. So this is a good transit for organizing your bank accounts, right? Double checking things. You could possibly have disagreements with a partner around finances. Watch out for impulse purchases during this time or possible anxiety around finances. So Mars will be here in the sign of Cancer through September 27th. Then you're in the clear. So really, I'm just saying, watch your finances during this time. Be careful. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to be aware of that. Now, on the 12th, this is a new moon in Leo, which coincides with a solar eclipse. We have two eclipses that will be occurring in August. This eclipse is happening at 20 degrees Leo in your ninth house. All right, I've already talked about your ninth house. We've got a lot going on in August here. But with this solar eclipse tied into this new moon, this is like pure cosmic dynamite. It's like a cosmic reset button, and it's going to bring high, high, high energy, high awareness, a spotlight on your ninth house. Now, remember, you want me to review ninth house? Ninth house can be goals, it can be college, your direction in life, it can be religion, it could be foreign travel, and it could be the law, anything legal that you might be dealing with. So, some themes and manifestations. One of the things I've said in the past about new moons, this is your time to plant a seed. You can plant a seed or an idea. You can manifest any of those themes in the ninth house. All right. So, whatever it is you want in any of those areas, maybe it's winning a legal battle. Maybe it is taking a foreign trip. Maybe it is going back to college. All right. Any of those things can be manifested during this period, and it's not going to be an overnight, right? You can't make a wish and then boom, it happens the next day. It doesn't work like that. But what you're doing is you're sowing the seed in the universe, right? You plant a sunflower seed, you don't instantly get sunflowers. You have to nourish, you have to cultivate, and you have to wait for it to grow. So, some themes and manifestations around this new moon and solar eclipse could be a shift in travel. You might see a relocation, or you might have an overseas adventure. But this is a sudden opportunity to live abroad or engage in foreign cultures. Pretty neat, right? Where are you going, Sagittarius? That's what I want to know. Tell me in the comments. Have you always wanted to move to Italy? Maybe this is your time. You can also see breakthroughs in education, right? Not everyone's going to move to a foreign land, but some of you might. Some of you might be going back to school. Some of you might be launching media or publishing projects. Maybe you've written a book. This is a good transit to get noticed and maybe get published from a publisher. This is a green light the universe is giving you for a book deal or a teaching position or to be in a degree program. This could also, another shift, could be just an identity and belief system reset. Maybe it's time to burn away self-limiting mindsets. But you could definitely see a surge of confidence here, and you can definitely see faded doors opening and closing. It's a lot of wild cards here. Okay. But the important thing is that you know how to work with this energy. So let the universe take the wheel. All right. Be open to sudden invitations and your intuition. So, one of the things that I say, I meditate every night and maybe every morning. Put a note on your mirror that says, Universe, show me what I need to see. And just be open to it. Okay. Whatever you do, just share your wisdom and do it boldly. This is your time. But really, you can ask the universe, show me what I need to see, and watch for the signs. On the 15th, we have our next transit. And this is Mercury conjuncting Jupiter at 10 degrees in Leo, again in your ninth house. But there's a neat thing happening here. It's not just that, but it's also sextiling Venus in Libra in your 11th house. So we talked about the earlier Mercury's impact, and Mercury's going to really power Jupiter up here. So this is a really good aspect for communication, for you to have influence over people. So it's going to bring opportunities. With Mercury and Jupiter fused together, this will help you develop big ideas, or you'll be able to speak with magnetic authority. Okay, but Venus brings charm, social prestige, and lucrative connections. So you've got that softness there that Venus brings. It's just going to kind of make you charismatic and magnetic. I'm just seeing a lot of good things here with, your Leo house filled with Mercury, the Sun, and Jupiter. They're all benefics. They're all going to watch out for you. They're all going to want to help you accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish. August is great. All right. So use this energy to pitch ideas, publish something, start a podcast, or maybe your social media will blow up in a good way, right? You can also get backing or support for something. Now, if you're involved in legal matters or schooling, you might see wins there. You'll be able to win people over. And then on the 19th, we have another significant shift here. So watch this. We have the nodes here. I'll grab my pencil and highlight this for you. All right, this is your north node in Aquarius, and your south node pops right back there into Leo with all of these friends, all of these benefics wanting to help you grow. All right, so the north node is in the 3rd house of Aquarius. The south node is in the 9th house. This starts an 18-month karmic cycle. Now, the last time these nodes were in these houses was 2008, 2009. So I want you to think back to 2008 and 2009. What were the themes? What was going on in your life at that time? Were you going to college? Were you starting a new job? Were you studying abroad, planning a trip? All right, so think back to that time. You're going to see a very similar theme. It's not going to be exact because all of our other planets are in different places. And as I said before, that makes an impact on what happens for you. So the South Node is in the 9th house there with Leo. Now, we're not going to grow there, but what the universe wants you to do is to shed your old habits and beliefs. And then you have your North Node in Aquarius in your 3rd house. That's where you're going to grow. So basically, you're going to be moving from the ivory tower to the town square. But it's a new karmic cycle. So a time to release your ego attachments. What do you get stuck on? Maybe you feel like you have to be an expert on things. You don't. Shed that guru complex. You don't need to be the all-knowing person or the absolute authority. So tell me, what do you do for work? Are you a leader at work? Are you the authority? Maybe it's time to step down from that. In the 3rd house, that's where destiny is calling you. So instead of you being the sage on the stage, it wants you to really embrace that one-on-one, peer-to-peer dialogue. Listen to other people. Or turn the big ideas into utilizing media, right? You can utilize media to share your big ideas. That would be a 3rd house theme. 3rd house is also connecting with siblings and neighbors. So maybe growing there, maybe you're getting a new sibling. Maybe one of your siblings is going to have a child, all right? Or your neighborhood's growing. But like I said before, the universe is going to want you to swap the preaching for listening. Really pay attention to the people around you. The universe is always giving us signs. It's whether or not we listen, right? Like I said, there's always free will. 23rd is our next event. Let me erase these nodes here and grab my mouse. And let's go to the 23rd. On the 23rd, Sun enters the sign of Virgo, and that is in your 10th house. 10th house is all about your profession, your status, your public standing, your career. The father can also be represented here as well. So right here, it places an emphasis on your work and your reputation, and the sun will help you get noticed here. Maybe you are organizing or streamlining your professional life, or you're really good at showing people how to solve problems rather than talk about them. Now, Virgo can make people hypercritical here. You don't have to be perfect. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm wondering, with Virgo in your 10th house of career, are you very meticulous at work? Are you a professional? Are you a perfectionist at work? So don't let your work take a toll on your health. Just lighten up a little bit. All right, go with the flow. But this transit can be great for professional advancement. With the sun there, you're just getting seen, you're getting noticed. Okay, but don't overdo it here. Next transit happens on the 25th, and that is Mercury entering the sign of Virgo. So again here, now Mercury's in your work house. It's just going to bring more knowledge, better use of technology. You're going to have good communication and dialogue, all in those 10th house themes. Now it gets even better. Like it keeps growing. Keeps growing. So let's go back here. Now on the 27th, see that at 4 degrees, we have a Sun Mercury Cazimi. Again, right here in your 10th house. Mercury rules this house. Mercury is very happy. This is his home base. So you will really be seeing peak performance, and you'll be able to leverage things at work. Mercury Cazimi can bring sudden aha moments, moments of clarity, brilliance, real mental sharpness, high impact for launching projects. Great time to be signing work contracts regarding your career. Really receiving recognition for mastery in something you do. So how can you capitalize on this Mercury Cazimi? You certainly can. Schedule high-stake meetings during this time. Maybe you need to win someone over. Pay attention to downloads that you may get. Pay attention to emails and communication that you receive on this day. So mark your calendar. August 27th, 4:19 p.m. is the exact time for your moment of brilliance. Give or take a few hours. Now, this is Eastern Standard Time, so you can always check for where you're located. But the universe is wanting to send you messages. So even if it's spam, if it's advertisements, I'm not saying buy them, but pay attention to what the universe is trying to signal you here in relation to your career and the 10th house. All right, and then we are rounding it up to the end of August. Can you believe that? We are here already, the end of August. So this is our lunar eclipse and our full moon in Pisces happening in the 4th house of home, family, private life. Full moons are all about closing a chapter, ending, you're releasing, right? New moons were starting, full moons were releasing. So you could be closing an emotional or a domestic chapter. Now, while your career is reaching new heights, look at the foundation you're building your career upon, all right? I want you to go back and look at the family piece. Now, there's an interesting thing here, which I didn't point this out in my other August horoscopes, but we have a T-square here. All right, so sun and moon, and check this out. Uranus is here. So Uranus is connecting your houses 4, 7, and 10. These are all angular houses. So this is going to be a pretty powerful full moon, really highlighting your relationships and your career. So you may have a tug of war between home and career, and you're just going to get a spark here from Uranus in the 7th house that's going to ignite something. And the 7th house is your relationships, your partnerships. Could be marriage, so maybe you are focusing too much on your career that your home life gets slighted. So Uranus is going to make someone say, whoa, 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 wait a minute. I am here too. You need to pay attention to me. All right. It's going to be someone from your family. It could even be a business partner. Maybe a business partner notices something at work that's not right. Something's going to shake this up. So you might see an impact from people, partners, and relationships. Just some unexpected news from a partner or a career move or a contract, right? It could even be your partner saying, hey, I got a job offer in another country. What are we going to do? Could be any of those things. But Uranus is here to break you from a cycle of monotony, right? You're working hard, you're doing the same thing over and over again. Are you feeling stuck? That's when Uranus will force something on you, okay? Just watch out for brain overload here. You can always get some brain mental overload, overwhelming feeling during that T-square energy. So be aware, watch for that. How to work with this energy? Expect the unexpected in relationships, right? Sometimes if you think it's happening, you'll be prepared and then it might not even happen. That's why I love doing these videos. I love talking astrology with you. So give people the space to surprise you. We don't know what those surprises will be. That's up for you to share with me. And I do hope you do, but stay flexible and use communication as a bridge. So I hope some of you out there appreciated this video. This is my first time doing full horoscopes for each sign. So I hope that someone out there does appreciate them. As I've said, this is not my real job. This is my passion. Astrology is my love language. And I don't have anyone in my current life that loves to talk about astrology, that gets astrology. So anytime I can share my passion or teach people, I'm here for you. So if you know a Sagittarius that you know and love, please feel free to share this video with them so that they know what's coming in the month of August. And I wish you all of the best. Please come back, subscribe so that you can get updated on my next video. And again, thank you for watching. I appreciate all of you out there.